Good morning, my friends. Welcome to this episode of Happiness After Codependency. I'm Marshall Bircher, and I'm your guide in helping you break free of codependency so you can go on and create the relationships, the purpose, and the life that you want to exist, or that you want to experience. I'm never really good with these pitch lines, but yeah, I'm here to help you create more well-being, more happiness, relationships, purpose in your life. So that's what I do. Today, we are jumping into the topic of innate. We're going to touch on the concept of what's called innate legitimacy. Specifically, which is the title of today's episode, the inherent legitimacy of your experience. Why this matters in your healing from codependency, why it matters for your boundaries, for your sense of value, for your sense of safety, connection, even identity in the world. So it touches again on those three necessities that codependency works to try to fulfill in our lives, which is connection, safety, and what I call value identity, which is a sense of value and purpose in the world. So we're going to touch on that today. Before we get to today's topic, I need to share this out to the community real quick. So if you're looking for a safe haven where you can find additional guidance, tools, and support in your journey beyond codependency, your journey out of abuse and neglect, your journey into your own power, your own value, your own purpose and identity, come join us in the community. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube in the description. Make sure you check the rules out. The link is there for that as well, so you can understand how the group functions and what the rules are. So make sure it's a good fit for what you're looking for and your support system. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, guys. Thank you for doing that. By the way, we're almost 5,000 subscribers, which is a big deal for me because I never thought it's cool to think that I'm going to have that many. So I'm really excited about that. It's really cool. All right, so we're going to get this shared out to the community here real quick. And I've got to share it to the group. I just got to find it right here. Facebook moves things around and makes it a little tricky. Okay, there we go. Boom. All right, so again, good morning. Let me know, guys, your thoughts on today's topic in the comments below. And yeah, okay. So let's start off with the premise of what are we really dealing with? So in codependency, we come from a history of being delegitimized. Our feelings are questioned. Our emotions are questioned. Our perceptions, our experience, our needs, our wants, our own value, our own personality, our own perspectives. These are all questioned. They're criticized. They're put down. They're ignored. They're challenged. I grew up in an environment where a lot of people liked to challenge my points of view out of some sort of thinking that if they challenged my points of view, they were doing the right thing. They were being the authority. They were being the healthy adult, the mentor I needed. They needed to challenge my points of view, rather than ask me questions about why I'm seeing what I'm seeing and respect the legitimacy of a different point of view that I have on a situation or an experience. A lot of times we've grown up or we have been in toxic relationships, and in these toxic relationships we have experienced gaslighting. Gaslighting is the act of causing someone to question their lived experience, their reality. Am I seeing this right? Am I supposed to feel this way? Did that really happen? Am I seeing what really is my perspective accurate? The goal in gaslighting, in making you question and doubt yourself, is to give the other person power. Specifically, usually, it starts off with trying to avoid accountability for something they did, and then use that avoidance of accountability to manipulate and control you. Because when we doubt ourselves, our brain's going to go external. It's going to go outside of ourselves to find an authority to follow. It needs a compass to understand reality, to make sense of what's real, to establish safety. So in that safety, it can create connection and discover a sense of value and identity in its world. Well, that's what's going on in gaslighting. It's to get them to give you your power, make them an authority in your world, then they can dictate what's real for you. And then suddenly you're trapped in their web of control. So this is generally the the genesis, the point in which the point in which self-doubt is created in us. Because we are not born doubting ourselves. We are actually born trusting ourselves. We trust our impulses, our instincts. We trust what our body is telling us. This is how we got ourselves fed. This is how we learned how to walk, how to talk, how to explore and understand the world. It's because we were trusting in these impulses and these instincts that we had in our body. It's only when someone started gaslighting us, questioning us, criticizing us, putting us down, comparing us to others, making fun of us, bullying us, that we started to experience the world of self-doubt. That's where we started to question the validity of what we feel, what we want, what we need. Am I a real person? Am I the right way? Or am I wrong? Is who I am wrong? Is who I am bad? This is where shame and guilt start to take root in our world and start to govern and drive and influence what we do, what we choose, and who we see ourselves to be. And this is why it's so critical for us in our healing to move towards restoring our, what I call, innate legitimacy. So what is innate legitimacy? Innate legitimacy is the thing that's just intrinsically real. Something is real and valid because it exists, basically. So if I'm having an emotion about a thing, that's real and valid because the emotion exists in response to the thing. It doesn't need justification. It doesn't need argument. It doesn't need defense. It doesn't need explanation. What it needs is acknowledgement, legitimization, and respect. It needs to be witnessed, and it needs to be respected and cared for. So when we talk about innate legitimacy, we apply it to a number of different things. So in the self-trust course, we talk about this at depth, as well as in the Healing Codependency Self-Study System. We talk about the legitimacy of our emotions, of our senses, of our lived experience, of our capacity, of our reactions. And this helps to heal the impact of gaslighting and crazy making, and helps to restore confidence in ourselves. Confidence in our own perspective, our own wisdom, our own senses, our own intuitions, so that we can get back into congruence or alignment with who we are, and we can start sensing out safe people, places, and things in our world and avoid those that are not. That's the goal of one of the goals of innate legitimacy, is restoring that sense of power back in our world so that we can direct ourselves in healthy ways. Specifically in this, and with today's episode, is the inherent legitimacy of your lived experience. The innate legitimacy of that lived experience. Why is it crucial? So, being gaslit, being doubted, being criticized, being put down, makes us doubt that our experience is legitimate. So we seek validation and reassurance outside of ourselves. So other people can determine what's real for us at that point. And that can lead us to a lot of confusion, pain, and frustration. But when we start to trust that our experience is inherently legitimate, it doesn't rely on someone else's approval or agreement for it to be real and valid, we start to understand what we're really going through. We start to get in contact with what is real. We start to break free of codependent fantasies we might be having. We start to sense our own pain and our own wisdom again. And these are crucial milestones in our healing. Because when we are dealing with trauma bonds, we're dealing with love addiction, we're dealing with an enmeshed experience in a relationship, we are trying to control the external world in order to feel safe, in order to have a sense of connection, and to have value. We are largely ignoring our lived experience in order to do that, because our lived experience actually contradicts the fantasy we're trying to create by people-pleasing them, by accommodating their toxic behaviors, by trying to be perfect, and by trying to prove ourselves as worthy and lovable. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this in the comments below, because this can be a little intense. So take some time with yourself. If you're finding yourself experiencing some activation, some anxiety, some uptick in energy in the body, take a moment. Check in with your environment, check in with yourself. Allow yourself to register if you're physically safe. And check in with your capacity here. So make sure you're not moving yourself towards a place of overwhelm, but you'll have enough space to process or receive what I'm sharing today. All right. So when we come into contact with the innate legitimacy of our lived experience, we discover what we're really feeling, what we're really going through. A lot of what doesn't make sense in our world starts to make sense because we're like, oh, this is really happening. They say this thing, and yet they do the opposite of it. So I'm not crazy. They really are doing this thing. Because we're not believing their words anymore. We're believing the behavior and the impact that creates and the results we live with because of it. We are sensing into actual reality. We're doing what I call sane making. This helps us start to also register where our power is. Because a lot of times in codependency, we believe power is in influencing and changing what someone else is doing, what someone else is choosing to be, what someone else has or doesn't have in their world. Real power is internal. It's very focused on ourselves because that's the only place we have power. And specifically, we only have power in our choices and our actions, and then how we manage our feelings, our desires, and our resources. When we treat our experience as legitimate, as we treat our experience as not requiring any kind of justification, argument, defense, or explanation, but we respect it as whole and complete unto itself. And we're like, yeah, I'm living this. I'm experiencing this. This is real to me. Then we're back in our power because we can identify what choices and actions are being made that perpetuate this kind of cycle we're stuck in, and we can change those. Specifically, we can change our choices. Can't change theirs. We're naturally powerless over other people's choices and actions, but we're fully in power and we are fully in power of. We have power over our own. I'll put it that way. Critical here. This is why this topic is. I put a lot of emphasis on it because if we don't believe our lived experience, we don't think that it's legitimate and real, we're not going to have access to our power. We're not going to believe our own feelings. We're not going to seek out our own boundaries and our own well-being. We're going to seek it through other people. And we're going to perpetuate this cycle of neglect, of abuse, of emotionally unavailable relationships. And we're going to wonder why we're trapped. We're going to wonder why we can't escape this. The escape hatch in these kinds of dynamics is to acknowledge, first of all, the innate legitimacy of one's lived experience, so that then you can acknowledge the innate legitimacy of your emotions. What are you feeling in this? What impact are you living with? What outcome is that creating? That starts to wake you up. This starts to introduce the concept of sobriety into your world. Now I want to flip this a little bit. Innate legitimacy of your lived experience also applies to all the positive, healthy, and loving events that you experience in your world. When I'm aligned with the inherent legitimacy of my lived experience and what I'm creating here, my business, what I create in my own life, my relationships, I get to identify what I'm feeling. I also get to identify my own power. I get to identify how I'm impacting my life and others in positive ways, and I get to own that. So success is no longer this random thing based on luck that I happen to stumble across over and over and over. We can actually see that success is a byproduct of specific choices and actions in a specific context that create the outcome we're looking for. We become attuned to how we create our own reality by the use of our personal power. We're able to sense into our wants and our needs and how they work. Hey, I want this, I need that, and I want it this way, and I need it that way. We're able to identify people who are compatible with that. It's like, oh, this person behaves this way, and that fits the way this need gets fulfilled in me. They treat me this way, and that feels fulfilling to me. I can identify that if I'm in contact with my lived experience, and I trust that it's legitimate. I also find my boundaries. Like, nope, don't want that. And now I know where to say no. I'm able to sense into my intuition, to my gut, for my own creativity, for my own protection, for my own inspiration. I'm able to go out there and I can influence the world from these new powerful places. Also, when we trust the legitimacy of our lived experience, we no longer feel crazy. The world isn't so scary and mysterious anymore. It actually starts to make more sense. And that adds sanity to our world, which increases safety in our experience. This is why it's crucial for us to practice trusting the legitimacy of our lived experience. It is a core feature of creating sanity in our life, especially after gaslighting, after abuse, and after neglect. It's essential to our healing and our returning to our wholeness, our natural completeness, and making contact with our intrinsic worth, because it's all part of that. So, today I want you to take a little experiment into your world. Consider doing this experiment, see what it does for you. Ask this question to yourself and then explore the results you get throughout your day. What shifts when I trust just a bit that my experience, my lived experience, is real and valid? And see what that starts to unfold in your world. That's how we do it. Okay. So, a little heads up, I have a new workshop coming out. September 28th, we have the Decoding Codependency Workshop called The 6 Habits. We're going to explore the root cause of codependency. We're going to explore how to soothe that. And then I'm going to expose or decode the 6 habits of codependency, specifically people-pleasing, perfectionism, toxic accommodation, that impulse to fix ourselves or others, the urge to merge, and to the urge to earn or prove our worth. So we're going to dive into that. I'm going to give you my 3-step model for interrupting these habits and introducing a new one called ISI. So you'll be able to take that into the world and start shifting those habits. And you'll also get your opportunity to join the Heal Codependency Self-Study System. Come and join us. So I'll be teaching that twice on September 28th. That's a Wednesday. I'll be teaching at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube, and on my Facebook page, as well as my website at freetheself.com. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support and comments. Deborah shares, I've always overlooked the legitimacy of my positive experiences. I skip over the fact that I created those successes. Yeah, boom. For it to build real confidence in our world, what I call resilient confidence, we have to acknowledge and own the successes we create. Thank you there, Satori, for the gratitude hands, the pray hands, and the plant. I like that. I get the sense of peace from that. That's what I think that's community. I'm never good with emojis. And then, yeah, I'm excited about the workshop too there, Deborah. We're going to have some exploration there. So thank you again, guys, for showing up. Remember to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And go gently in this experiment today in exploring the legitimacy of your lived experience. All right. I'll see you guys in the next training. Have a great day, guys.